This is Jonathan Aggie of FIFA Pro Boxing Fans, joined by former 2-weight world champion and Highbet brand ambassador. I'm going to pan down, as you can see, Highbet over there. David, tell us a bit about your work with Highbet. You've been doing it for a bit now. How's it all going?
Yeah, good. Enjoying it. You know, I do love to talk about the fights from time to time, so it gives me the opportunity to. Otherwise, I end up just disappearing and no one ever sees me. So it keeps my face out there, and keeps people directed to Highbet to go and have their little fluttering responsibly, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. There'll be a link in the description so people can check that out. David, before we talk about a big heavyweight fight this weekend, I do want to get your thoughts and comments on your friend Ricky Hatton's passing. No one said a bad word. No one has a bad word to say about him. But yeah, just some words from you about it.
Yeah, it's a tragic shock. You know, a legend, and I think the positive out of this, people are really recognising, remembering, and celebrating. You know, an amazing life, and you know, everyone's obviously heart goes out to his family, friends, and you know, it never gets any easier when a living legend, you know, passes way too early. But it's just, you know, I've watched a few of his fights, but the Costa Tszyu fight on the other day, to sit down and, you know, just to feel that legendary energy that he had, he'd have been a handful for anyone in any era, and yeah, a warrior. So an all-time great in my mind, great guy. And I said, I don't know anyone's got a bad word to say about him. A beautiful human being, and yeah, he's a legend.
Yeah, absolutely. David, this Saturday night, Joseph Parker and Fabio Wardley going at it at the O2 Arena. You've sparred Parker, I believe, in the Incorrect.
He sparred at my gym. I was there, but I wasn't taking any of the punches. I'm not sure who was sparring at the time. It wasn't me. I think I jumped out before he got there. But no, he's on tremendous form. Obviously, 7 fights on the spin. You know, Bacoli, Deontay Wilder, Zhilei Zhang. So probably 3 of the most avoided and dangerous fighters on the planet. For the last 10 years, he's fought back to back, and that shows the type of mindset he's got. You know, he believes he's the best on the planet, and he's willing to get in there, you know, against the very best. And you know, credit to him. He finds himself once again in the ring with, you know, a young guy who's coming to bring the heat. You know, Fabio's shown in his last fight that even when it's not going his way, he doesn't quit, he doesn't give up, he doesn't get disheartened. He keeps firing, because he knows if he can detonate on someone's chin, they're going to sleep. So he's got that big equalizer. And obviously he's granite hard, he's tough, he's durable, and, you know, bags of balls. And I think it's going to be very, very explosive, this fight. You know, 2 big warriors, you know, trading blows. Doesn't get any better than that.
If people go on Highbet this weekend, they want to place a bet, what's David Haye's pick? Help him out.
My pick for this particular fight, I think Joseph Parker has the experience. You know, he's done it time and time again. Wardley, we're going to need to see something from him on Saturday night that he hasn't shown up until this point, outside of the punch power. But how that punch power presents itself on the chin is the key. And I'm unsure that since his last fights against Hooney, you know, in a fight in which he was losing pretty much every round, and obviously pulled out the late knockout victory, he can bridge the gap in technical skill, which he's going to need to be able to get rid of a solid, rock solid Joseph Parker on very, very good form.
Would it surprise you if Wardley pulled this one off?
Yeah, I'd be very surprised, and it would mean that Wardley, you know, if he can knock out or beat Joseph Parker, he deserves a shot at whoever else is out there on the planet. You know, Usyk, he's got a fair shout to start calling that fight out, because, you know, Parker's been in line for a long time, and he's proven after victory that he deserves his shot. And if he beats Parker, he now takes those victories. They kind of go towards his momentum to a world title fight. So yeah, he's got possibly this could be, his fight before the big one. Not that this isn't a big one, but if he wants to fight for the world championship, he's in the perfect position to beat Parker. But to do that, he's going to have to really show something special.
Oleksandr Usyk said that he's going to continue to 41 years old. He's not going anywhere. Do you want
48?
38? So he says he'll continue to 41. So 3 more years. Do you think the winner of this deserves their shot, Usyk?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think Parker does for sure. Out of everybody out there on the planet, he's the guy who's fought the toughest opposition, and he's final eliminator. He's had about 3 final eliminators in a row. And here he goes, another one now. Yeah, so he deserves it.
On Usyk, what's your reaction to him carrying on? Are you surprised about that? And do you think there's anyone out there that will beat him in those 3 years?
If there's ever a time for him to get beat, it's when he's in his late 30s, early 40s. He's had a perfect career up until this point. He is someone who's fought the very best, and not only has he fought the very best, as in Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, massive names, as big as it gets. He's done it he's given them a rematch on top of that. Very rarely do you beat someone and then say, okay, I'll give you another go at trying again. And that's the type of guy he is. So I'm not sure who else out there has a significant chance of beating him. But if he wants to keep on fighting, fighters like Moses Itauma, who are only 20 now, how good is he going to be in 2 years? These are very dangerous fights for Usyk. But maybe he loves the danger. Maybe he loves it and he feels he's got more to give. And he can give us another 3 years of amazing fights and amazing wins. Maybe he can. I'd be surprised if he keep going through his training camps fighting big heavyweights. Because what he goes through in sparring to obviously be as good as he is, he's in the battleground, in the gym behind closed doors. Can his body hold up? If it is holding up, fantastic for boxing fans. But if it isn't holding up, I'd hate to see him continue and lose because his body falls apart, rather than, someone just being technically better than him.
Interestingly, you mentioned Itauma. Usyk said he's actually not interested in fighting Itauma. Can you understand that, given the age?
Yeah, Itauma is a 20-year-old with bags of potential, great explosive firepower, heavy hitter, good reflexes, doesn't get hit a lot, and he's a puppy, and he's only going to get better. So there's no real upside for Usyk to challenge someone so young and unproven, and he's not a flagship marquee name yet. He hasn't had the opportunities. So maybe in a couple of years, he will do. Maybe when he's beaten a few top 10 fighters, and if Usyk's still around, that may be a big fight. But if it is, it'll be I'd be sad to see Usyk lose to someone significantly younger than him, because he's slowed down and got old potentially. Although in his last fight against a boy, he looked as good as he's ever looked. His pace was great, his timing, his reflexes, everything looked better than ever. So maybe he's just one of those freaks who can just keep going.
Now, I understood that Derek Chisora and Jarrell Miller were sort of in advanced talks, but I believe you've heard something different.
Yeah, you got the third fight, Whyte, Chisora, 3, goddamn. Yeah, so it was with Derek last night at the Pride of Britain. Yeah, so he's super excited. Him and Dylan had done a deal. I think it was 50-50, 60 to the victor and 40 to the loser. Simple fight to make, and it's a fight for Derek's last 50th fight that will get everybody out. That's the last big one. That's his sail off into the sunset one for him. I'm sure Dylan will have other ideas about that, but yes, it's one of those. It's like Gatti Ward. They may not have been able to beat the Mayweathers of that time, but didn't need to. They just needed each other, and I think Dylan and Derek is the same. It's the same thing. I think they both need each other, and what a great way to say that. But I can't see either of them fighting on beyond this fight. Once they both go at it, if you watch the first 2 fights, they didn't leave much in the ring there. Neither of them. They just emptied the tank in each other, and it was fun to watch.
Do you favour Derek this time around?
I do, yeah. If you look at Derek's last 4 fights, he's won Washington. He's Joyce, fights in which on paper he might not win this one. He's won more and he's looked good going through. Dylan in his last fight didn't look too clever against Moses. We're told there was an injury prior to it, so he weren't on his best form. But for Derek, I'm pretty sure he's going to turn up as he usually does, and I think they're made for each other. So the fight fans, they get to see one last war with Derek and Dylan, and I know Dylan's going to he wants to get that third victory. He doesn't want to lose that final fight, no doubt.
You've had so much history with Derek over the years. You were involved in the rematch, I believe. Yeah. Are you going to be involved in this one?
I'll be around, be floating around, but it's just one of those fights that the fans want to see. Who wouldn't want to see? I think it's December, he was saying. So what a way to, what a fight, a Christmas fucking banger that would be. Those two going at it again. Because it's going to be drama. The press conference is going to be great. And it's going to be like the good old days.